Hello everyone and welcome to Moonride, where we're channeling the man in the moon. Today I'd just like you to take a moment and think of people who are really suffering right now. They might be losing their jobs, they might have the virus, they might be a grocery clerk being forced to go to work today, and being really terrified. I talk to such people every single day, and there are a lot of heroes out there, and a lot of people suffering out there. So just for a moment, maybe just think of them. You might think of sometimes somebody did something really nice for you, right? And just think of that moment. And then just send that back out there to just anyone you feel might need it. And that would be anyone you don't know or anyone you do know. It doesn't really matter. And having done that, it might be good to spend a moment to get away from all the depressing information and think of, well, did anything good happen here? Is there any positive sides of being stuck at home all day and cleaning your bathroom? Okay, anything that's good about this? Mm, just think for a moment. What good things happened? Is there something that is good here? I don't know about you, but I do have the cleanest bathroom I've ever had, right? So that's one silly good thing. But I also notice random acts of extreme kindness on those short moments when I run to the grocery store and run back. I notice that people are generous and people are kind. And I find myself joking about a 6 foot distance with people walking past me. When in our society have you ever spent so much of your day thinking about others? I know that when you're going out and you're not, you're social distancing, um, you're thinking about yourself, obviously, but you're also thinking of other people. What time in our society have we spent so much time thinking about the community? Right? So there are some good aspects of what is going on right now. We're all being reminded of hearth and home, and in a way, we're all being sent back to Mother Earth, as symbolized by our families, our homes, even if you live alone. There's something good about that, and I would invite you to, on days where you're feeling really frustrated, explore that and explore this idea. What are we learning right now? What's the universe trying to tell us? Right? There is a silver lining here. Now, on that note, I'm just going to check in and find out, what do we need to know right now politically, especially if it has to do with Trump. So I see Donald Trump, and he's using the American flag like a spear, right? And he's like pointing it at all of us. It's like he's pointing it directly at my face. He really is using America and patriotism as a weapon to attack people. And he keeps showing his patriotism and putting his hand over his heart, and all these things, like he's saluting and like he cares about our nation. Let's see. Yeah, he's spinning that sucker around a lot. He's like almost spinning the flag like a baton as it goes around and around and around. And as he's doing it, his motions become quicker and more desperate. He's whipping him around, whipping him around. He's trying to get people like William Barr to go out and say statements supporting him. But he's having difficulty because there isn't then that many people who can support him right now. The doctors contradict him. As usual, he looks angry and frustrated. And he's just smacked Ivanka across the face. I wonder what that means. Spirit, what does it mean that he slapped Ivanka? It's like he's blaming people around him, especially those he finds to be easy targets. So even those he's always supported and always liked and stuff, even they're getting the back end of his hand right now. It's causing his resources, psychological resources, to dwindle. So, Spirit, tell us more. What do we need to know about Trump? Hmm. Okay, Trump's on Air Force One, but there's like a plane and it's chasing him. And Donald Trump's in the front in the cockpit, and he's trying to tell the airline pilot how to fly. Like the pilot doesn't know how to fly, and the pilot's just like, "Dude, what are you doing here? We don't know how to fly." And he's like, "Go faster, go faster, go faster." But it's not going faster. And I get that as like the American plane in trouble, and another plane, maybe just call it reality plane, like catching up to him and passing him. And the reality plane next door, they're paralleling him now, and all these people are in the windows like, "We're gonna kill you, we hate you." They're all just so mad at him, and he's like, "Oh, I feel safe in this plane." This is the reality of what's going on here. There are no more, you know, there may be a few, but for the most part, Trump's support is dwindling. If there was no longer a space between him and the people, they would literally tear him apart right now. That's how angry people are getting. And that plane is parallel to right now, but it looks like it's going to have no problem passing him. So you might even think of this as just the election in general. Hmm. It's funny because I don't see Biden. I see John Kerry for some reason stepping out and being the reasonable person. Um, so, Spirit, do we need to know about Biden? What can we know about Biden? I don't get great feelings about Biden. And I mean, I think he'll still be the nominee and I think he'll win, but honestly, I don't think he's going to live that long. And I don't think that matters. Obviously, it matters to Biden, and I don't wish ill upon anyone. But um, in the sense of the political movement, it doesn't really even need a leader. We are so fed up with Donald Trump that you know a stick will do. Even if it's just a statue, we will follow that to defeat him. Yeah, Biden, I just don't feel like he's going to live. I keep seeing him 6 feet under, to be honest. And part of this, I almost feel like maybe it's just symbolic. He doesn't really matter. So, who does matter? Who's going to lead us here? Schiff will be helpful in leadership. So, do we get a vice presidential candidate out of Biden? It's kind of interesting. I have a feeling that's one thing Biden is actually capable of doing is picking a VP. Whatever else he is or is not capable of doing, he's going to be good at finding a VP. And you might even think of like the Democratic machine as finding a decent VP. They seem to be addressing this, and I do get a um, kind of a feeling. Can you tell me? It's funny because I see Stacey Abrams and Elizabeth Warren. I see them both. Hmm. Hmm. Well, tell me a little bit more, Spirit. Can you show me a little bit more? Hmm. Look, honestly, it might be that Warren's the VP, and after Biden, and maybe that's in 10 years, but after Biden, then Stacey Abrams is her VP. That's kind of the feeling I get because I see both of them leading. Hmm. Hmm. And this tells me that the Senate is going to be a successful turn towards the Democrats because I keep seeing Schiff, but not Pelosi. And I feel like Schiff's going to lead um, the trials against people who have worked with Trump and broken these laws. Can you tell us anything more about Donald Trump? What should people be aware of? Hmm. They really keep showing me this sort of flagpole with the American flag on it, and Trump kind of tries to furl the flag around it and then attack. It becomes unfurled and he tries to attack again. I almost just want to tell people, try not to worry too much. This shows us that if nothing else, Trump is not going to make it as president. He will not succeed. He is going to keep wrapping his attacks in the flag, and it will continue to fail and fail again, and it will become more and more obvious. Notice that he doesn't really have handlers anymore that can manage him. He's got to speak directly to the American people, and every time he does, he makes a fool out of himself. Every time anybody asks a question, he makes a fool out of himself. So he no longer has the buffer of only Fox News. He no longer has the buffer of people around him trying to package him and this interaction directly with his fans. He's crying. Trump is crying now, standing next to the flag and crying. He's like that guy who's the teacher's called out and he's sent to the corner. That's actually exactly what he looks like. Okay, and now Trump is writing, "I will not tell a lie" on the chalkboard 1,000 times. I will not tell a lie. I really do feel like Trump will finally get chastised. He'll finally be sort of humiliated and punished. And I know that we all think that that's impossible. But I would just invite everybody to see that there is a political benefit to the horrible things that are going on right now. Remember, there is something to be learned, and it's not just for others, it's also for ourselves. We will get a good deal out of this experience if we see how, just what are we learning? We've all got our own faults and we've all got our positive things. Maybe in the last few days, what good thing did we change our minds about? What good thing did you do? What did you think about and go, maybe I could do things differently? I'm a pretty crunchy guy. I try to, recycle. I've got my little worm farm in my backyard, all of these things. But, I've been flying around the planet every year for the past 5 years, and maybe I should just think about the planet a little bit more instead of, my vacation in Japan, right? So I'm kind of being forced to think about those things right now. All of us are, and try to think of it without judgment, just even of yourself. Just try to think of it in terms of, what am I doing better now than I wasn't doing before? What am I being asked to listen to? And I am listening. And just take that in and understand that people have lived through crazier times, wars, all these other things. They've lived through really significant periods of time where they were witness to events. Right now, we are going to be witness to these events. We're going to be talking about a time before the virus and after the virus. So think of how, in some sense, just watching this is like a science fiction movie. Nobody could have dreamed a year and a half ago that we would, even a month and a half ago, that we'd be living like this. You are a witness, right? There is something to be said for that. And we could be witnessing much more terrible periods of time. This doesn't mean we dismiss the suffering and deaths of those around us. But remember that we are witnesses, and that in of itself is a very important thing. Thanks so much for watching.